You have a large family or you are intending to venture into business, maybe the transport business or any other business, and you need a 7-seater minivan that is affordable to maintain, fuel efficient and reliable as well. On your shortlist, you have these 4 minivans: the well-known and well-established Toyota Voxy, Honda Stepwagon, Nissan Serena, and last but not least, Mazda Biante, the 2016 models. You are at the right place because in this particular episode, we are going to be having an in-depth comparison review on all these 4 minivans to help you decide on which one is the absolute best option. So please stick around, consider subscribing to the channel for more informative content on cars and bikes, and welcome to IK Reviews. So these minivans need no introduction because they are a common sight on Kenyan roads, especially the Voxy, Stepwagon and Nissan Serena. Biante is not that common, but it's still well known. We will be comparing the 2016 models. The 2016 Voxy is the third generation, which was in production from 2014 till 2021. The 2016 Biante is the first and only generation, which was in production from 2008 till 2018. The 2016 Stepwagon is the fifth generation, which was in production from 2015 to 2022. And lastly, the 2016 Serena is the fourth generation, which was in production from 2010 till 2016. Straight away, as usual, let's begin with the prices of these minivans, beginning with the Voxy. A 2016 model will set you back between 1.9 to around 2.5 million, depending on the trim level. It's among the most expensive minivans in this comparison, and its price is influenced by how well established it is and also due to its resale value and outstanding reliability. A 2016 Biante will set you back between 1.4 to around 1.7. This is the most affordable minivan here. It's actually an underrated car, yet it's also a very good and capable minivan. It has not done so well in the Kenyan market, largely because of the Voxy and Noah's dominance. 2016 Stepwagon is the most expensive minivan here. Its starting price is roughly around 2.5 million. It's the newer generation here in Kenya, and in fact most dealers are yet to start importing it. So at the moment it's very rare. Lastly, 2016 Serena is going for between 1.6 to around 1.75 million, depending on the trim level. It's also a very affordable minivan, and that's because it doesn't have such a high demand because of a few issues to do with its reliability, as we will see later in this comparison. Moving on to the engine options, the Toyota Voxy keeps it very simple. There's either a 2000cc, which is coupled to a CVT gearbox, or an 1800cc hybrid, which is coupled to an eCVT gearbox. This minivan is available either as a front or all-wheel drive. Now, this is a very tough and reliable minivan. It's arguably the most reliable minivan. They are used to ferry passengers on long distances, day and night, from Nairobi to Mombasa or Kisumu, and they just keep going for years and years. They are very tough and reliable. In terms of power, they are decent enough even with 8 passengers on board. Moving on to the Mazda Biante, it has 3 engine options: a 2-liter, a 2.3-liter and a Skyactiv 2-liter, which was available as from 2013. The 2-liter and 2.3-liter come mated to either a 4 or 5-speed automatic, while the 2-liter Skyactiv comes mated to a 6-speed Skyactiv automatic. So this minivan is the only one that comes with a conventional automatic instead of a CVT. It's also the only one that doesn't have a hybrid option. In terms of power, as expected, the 2.3 is more powerful, but not as fuel efficient as the 2.0-liter Skyactiv. In fact, that Skyactiv 2-liter is decent in terms of power, and it's also the most fuel efficient. The Stepwagon comes with the 2 engine options, a 1.5-liter turbo and a 2-liter hybrid. The turbo variant is coupled to a CVT gearbox, while the hybrid is coupled to an eCVT. The hybrid variant was introduced in 2017, so you can only get the 2016 model with the 1.5-liter turbo. In fact, you may wonder how such a big minivan can be powered with such a small engine. This is among the first mainstream vehicles to have Honda's 1.5-liter turbo engine, and in terms of reliability, there have been a few cases of oil dilution. Then something else is that in terms of maintenance, you really need to be careful because of the turbo. So it may be a reliable engine, but it's now more sensitive to poor maintenance, unlike the naturally aspirated engine in the previous generation. In terms of power, both engines are decent enough, nothing much to complain about. Lastly, the Serena is available with two engine options, a 2.0 liter or another 2.0 liter hybrid. Both options come mated to a CVT gearbox, and this minivan is also available either as a front or all-wheel drive. In terms of power, again, these engines are quite okay, not so powerful and also not so underpowered. But in terms of reliability, there have been a few cases to do with engine overheating and also CVT failure. I've had a lot of complaints from clients on these two issues, which have really dented the reputation of this minivan. We will talk about them later when we discuss the pros and cons. Let's now move on to fuel consumption. The 2 liter in the Voxy can achieve between 10 to around 15 kilometers per liter, while the hybrid up to around 20 kilometers per liter, though it's claimed that it can get up to 23 kilometers per liter. Even at 20 kilometers per liter for a minivan, it's very good. The 2 liter in the Biante can get between 10 to 14 kilometers per liter, though the 2 liter Sky Active can get slightly better figures. The 2.3 can get around 11 to around 12 kilometers per liter. The 1.5 liter turbo in the Stepwagon can achieve around 15 kilometers per liter, and the hybrid between 13 to around 20 kilometers per liter, which is just as good as the Voxy hybrid. Lastly, the 2 liter in the Serena can get around 13 or 14 kilometers per liter, and the hybrid around 16 kilometers per liter. All these figures will always depend on how you drive, how well you maintain the car, and also on how much weight the vehicle is carrying. Biante and Serena both have 60 liter fuel tanks, while Voxy has a 55 liter tank and Stepwagon has a 56 liter tank for non-hybrids and 52 liter tank for hybrids. In terms of ground clearance, both Voxy and Serena have 160mm clearance, while the Biante has a 150mm clearance and Stepwagon a 140mm clearance, which is the lowest. Generally, Voxy, Serena and Biante have decent clearance, so if the car is not very heavily loaded, then going over moderate bumps will not be such a problem. As for the brakes, all these minivans have ventilated discs at the front and solid discs at the back, so the stopping power is good enough. The Voxy has a cab weight of between 1560 to 1730 kgs, the Biante 1660, Stepwagon between 1630 to 1770, and Serena between 1600 to 1720. Lastly, some of the extra features you can get in these minivans include alloy wheels, fog lights, keyless entry and go, sunroofs, cruise control, and even rear entertainment screens. So they are decent enough in terms of the features. How about their exteriors and interiors? Do let me know in the comment section which one you would prefer in terms of the exterior designs. I think they look decent, though I prefer the Voxy's look. It tends to have a slightly sportier look compared to something like the Serena, which is a bit more basic. The Stepwagon looks unique, especially at the back, due to its uniquely designed tailgate that Honda calls Waku Waku. That means exciting. It can be opened either sideways or the conventional way going upwards. It's such an interesting design. Interior-wise, all these minivans are very spacious and practical. There may be very negligible differences in terms of the space on offer, but generally they are all spacious and practical. After all, they are minivans, so they are meant to be very spacious. Their dash designs are also quite similar, with their gear selectors located on the dash, which is the norm for most minivans. There is nothing much to discuss about their interiors. They are very functional, maybe a bit basic, but they get the job done. The seats are comfortable enough even for long distances, and the head, leg and foot room is very good in all these minivans. Now let's look at their pros and cons, beginning with the Voxy. This is a very reliable minivan. As I said earlier, some of them are even overworked, but they just keep going. They are tough vehicles, and this has been proven by how well they perform ferrying passengers on long distances. It's also a fuel-efficient minivan, especially the hybrid variant that can do up to around 20 kilometers per liter. Being a Toyota, the resale value is also very good. Onto its cons, it's just one, which is the price. It's a bit on the steep side. In fact, this is among the most expensive minivans out there. Onto the Biante, it's also spacious and it offers very good value for money. At around 1.6 million, you can get this 7-seater minivan that is also engaging to drive, especially due to the fact that it comes with a proper automatic transmission as opposed to a CVT. For the most part, it's a reliable vehicle, but it's important to note that there have been a few cases of engine overheating, but aside from that, it's a reliable minivan. Moving on to the Stepwagon, it's really spacious and practical. In fact, its third row of seats can be folded down into the floor as opposed to the Voxy's third row that have to be flipped upwards on either side. Another pro is its reliability. For the most part, it's quite reliable, though you have to be careful with the maintenance because the engine is now turbocharged, and with these turbocharged engines, if you're not that careful with the maintenance, then the turbo may end up dying, and replacing it is not a cheap fix. As with most Hondas, the resale value is definitely expected to also be quite good. Good fuel consumption is another pro. It rivals the Voxy in that category. On to its weak points, the first one is its price, which is quite steep. Yes, it's the newer model which has brought about many changes and improvements, but still it's quite expensive. Another weak point is the oil dilution problem that has been reported on the 1.5 liter turbo. This is whereby the engine oil ends up mixing with the fuel. Other than that, this is a reliable minivan. Lastly, the Nissan Serena is very comfortable. The seats and ride quality are quite good. It also offers good value for money. It's very affordable, just like the Mazda Biante. But the big question is this: does affordability or cheap mean that the quality may not be good? Not necessarily, but in the case of this minivan, it may mean that, because in terms of reliability, it's not very good. There have been many issues to do with the engine overheating and also CVT failure. Several owners have really been disappointed by this minivan. It's not a tough and reliable minivan. In fact, it can't match up to something like the Toyota Voxy in terms of reliability, durability, and build quality. So there you have it. Which one should you go for? If you want a minivan for business, if it's the long distance matatu business or any other business, just get the Noah or Voxy. It's a tough, reliable minivan that will not disappoint you. In the event you may need to sell it, it will sell faster and also retain a significant amount of its value because of its good resale value. So in terms of business, it's the best option. If you want a minivan for family use, then the Stepwagon or Biante can also be good alternatives. Get the Biante if you are on a tight budget, but if the finances allow, you can also get the Stepwagon. But as I said earlier, do take note of its price, which is quite high. Then it will also need a strict maintenance schedule due to the turbo. Something else worth noting is that at first, getting the spare parts for the Stepwagon may be a bit difficult because it's a new model here in Kenya, and many dealers have not yet started stocking the parts, but with time they will definitely be available. As for the Nissan Serena, it's not a very reliable minivan, so I wouldn't advise anyone to go for it. There are way more reliable options out there. So there you have it. I hope this has been helpful. Thanks a lot for watching. Which one will you go for? Do let me know in the comment section. Personally, I would go with the Toyota Voxy non-hybrid, be it for family or business. That's it for this particular episode. Please consider subscribing to the channel for more informative content on cars as well as bikes. Stay safe. See you in the next one.